Hi everyone, welcome to Food Culture Curious. My name is Zareli. Today we're joined by my best friend Helen Yuan, who is going to talk to us a little bit about her East Asian and Taiwanese food culture. Enjoy! Hey everyone, welcome to Food Culture Curious. My name is Zareli. I am your host. I'm a registered dietitian on a mission to help healthcare providers be more culturally competent with their nutrition recommendations. Today I have my best friend Helen. She's going to be my first guest, and we're going to ask her some questions about her food culture. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Eddie. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
Of course, thank you so much for being here.
Mhm.
So, we're going to go ahead and get started real quick. First question: what food cultures do you identify with?
So, I grew up in an Asian household. My family is from Taiwan, so we primarily had a lot of different kinds of East Asian and Taiwanese cuisine around the house.
Tell me a little bit about the foods you grew up with. What are some typical protein, starches, produce that you had in your meals?
hmm So, I actually grew up lacto-vegetarian. So for the first, 20 years of my life, my family and I had mostly vegetables. They were usually just stir-fried vegetables, very simple, just a little like canola oil and garlic and assorted greens that you would find in the Asian supermarkets. And we would have mostly rice as our starch, sometimes noodles, which were always my favorite. That was more of like a special treat for me, and proteins would all be soy based. So, usually tofu or some kind of sort of replacement meat that was made of soy protein or gluten protein, which is actually what they make a lot of those substitute meats out of. I learned later on.
So, from those dishes growing up,
Mhm.
what were your favorites that you can remember?
Oh, it's funny because my dad used to make a vegetarian version of pho, which is a Vietnamese noodle soup. It's not strictly like a Taiwanese cultural food, but he would make a vegetarian version of pho that I would always request. And to this day, I still feel like I like it better than non-vegetarian pho because it's so rooted into my childhood.
Awesome. And going back to the like Taiwanese and Southeast Asian cooking, or East Asian cooking, sorry.
Mhm.
What type of spices, oils did you use, or were used in those dishes?
Yeah, so in our cooking, we use a good amount of just, back in the day, my parents would usually use vegetable oil or canola oil for stir frying. They switched to olive oil kind of later on as that started to become more of like a health focus. But they would use, vegetable oils, plant oils, a lot of fresh garlic. They would use fresh ginger, but when I was a kid, I didn't like fresh ginger, so I would stay away from the dishes they made that had that. Sesame oil, soy sauce were staples. They used a lot of scallions or green onions, um, white pepper in some of the dishes. So those are the big ones that I remember having a lot of in our meals.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And with you being from the Houston area and us having a Chinatown here, are
Yeah.
there any restaurants that you would recommend for people wanting to know more about East Asian foods or Taiwanese foods?
Ooh, gosh, yes. I don't I don't know many that have English names though, but I will say one of my favorite Chinese spots is Mala Sichuan. So that's for like the Sichuan region of China, which is really known for their like spicy foods and meat dishes. Spoiler alert, I'm not a vegetarian anymore, so I do really enjoy going to Mala Sichuan. Um, there is a there's Sandong Noodle House, which has the traditional Taiwanese beef noodle soup. So that's like braised beef with noodles and bok choy, and there's like some pickled radish in there. Fufu restaurants also has a lot of like Chinese and um, Taiwanese dishes in there. Trying to remember if there's any that are specifically Taiwanese, but that's all I can. Oh, and of course, um, I am a big fan of boba tea, which is something that I don't think the Taiwanese invented, but they certainly are the ones that I think take credit for perfecting it. So
Mhm.
there's a lot of Taiwanese boba tea places, and all of them in Chinatown and Houston are excellent.
Awesome. So if you can text these to me, I'll try to put them on our Instagram page. If you don't already follow, we're at Food Culture Curious. And if you have any questions for Helen, just let us know in the comments. But yeah, Helen, thank you for taking the time to talk to us about your food culture. It's really interesting to learn about it. And I
Of
know
course.
our audience is going to appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's always fun to talk about.
Mhm. All right, you guys, thank you so much. See y'all next time. And finally, a quick disclaimer. Food Culture Curious is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am a registered dietitian, but I am not your registered dietitian. If you have any healthcare concerns, please speak to a doctor. Thank you for listening.